What's up, guys? Today we are bringing you 3 different meals you can make in under 5 minutes. This first one's more of a meal, the second 2 are more of like snacks. This right here is my absolute go-to when I'm in a time crunch. It's pushing it, it might be a little over 5 minutes, maybe more like 7 minutes, but it's super quick, super nutritious, and just like a perfect quick keto meal. I make it all the time. Honestly, all you need is 3 ingredients. You need some kind of meat, sausage, bacon, you can even do ground beef. I'm gonna do bacon today. Some kind of veggie, you can do broccoli, you can do spinach. I'm gonna do collard greens. I like doing collard greens a lot. Sometimes I even do turnip greens, those are really good. And then a few eggs and just some seasonings. To start, we're just gonna slice up a couple pieces of bacon. We'll do 3 pieces. We're not scared off by the cane sugar that's listed there. Like, it's hard to find bacon without sugar, although you can do it if you do some digging. But having bacon with sugar in it's no big deal. Just count the carbs. That's the way we do it, at least. Do it however you want. Now, the whole concept of this meal is, you cook the bacon, bacon's delicious, but it gives off a lot of fat. What do you do with the leftover fat? You soak it up with some collard greens. So here we got 3 pieces of bacon. That's 4 pieces. You never put a piece of bacon back though, do you? Okay, let's do 4 pieces. I just give it some thin slices. You can dice it up finer if you want. And then we're just gonna toss this in the frying pan. Let that cook down a little bit. That bacon's about to my liking. Now just give it a good handful of collard greens, and this will cook down pretty severely. About like 3 or 4 cups. Now you're gonna wanna season this pretty heavily. I like to do pepper, some salt, and the bacon has a decent amount of salt in it, but I still add a pretty good amount to the collard greens. And then what I like is just a little bit of garlic powder. Give it a little flavor. Look at that. Now this is when I like to take it off. I'm very light in my cooking of this dish, but you can really cook it down a lot more if you want. Then for this, I like to get a nice wide bowl. Throw down the greens, throw down the bacon. Wait a second, there's a little room left in the bowl there. What are we gonna do with that? We are going to do 2 sunny side up eggs. And one other option, this is what I do a lot of the time. I just actually take out the white and I just crack the yolk right into the scramble here raw, and then the heat just kind of cooks it. I mix it around. That's what I do a lot of the time. It makes it even faster. We're just gonna get a little ghee in the pan. I like cooking eggs with ghee just because it has a higher smoke point. Another option is before you take the collard greens and bacon out of the skillet, you can just crack a few eggs and scramble it in there. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it for convenience. Right now we're kind of going for presentations. Don't let the yolk break. Oh, baby. Don't forget to season the eggs. Hit it with a little pink salt. When you're peppering up eggs, I don't know about you, but I go for the very coarsely ground pepper. I think it looks nice and I like the taste of it. And man, that is just a great keto meal any time of day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. I would say it took about 7 minutes. You can do it faster though. We'll try everything at the end.
So the second recipe is definitely a snack, but I've made meals out of it. It's really good. We're just making simple pepperoni chips, and you can use any pepperoni you want. We have these big boys though. Look at these. We have a baking sheet here, and we are going to line it. You can use parchment paper. We have these silicone mats that we always like to use. We pick them up. It'll be linked in the blog post below. I am going to start the oven to broil. You can also bake them, but if you broil them, it's like 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes, and that's the goal, right? As fast as possible to get it into your mouth. Layer these out like this. This is great for like a party snack for kids, for packing in a lunchbox, as a movie snack because we don't have popcorn anymore in our lives. Once you layer, just pop it in the oven on broil. These can burn quickly, so keep an eye, but we're gonna say 1.5 to 2 minutes is your best bet. The edges will start to get brown, which will indicate they're pretty much good to go, and then as you let them cool, they will harden and turn into chips. For a quick dipping sauce, because it's fun to dip, we are going to use this Rao's, everyone says it very different, marinara sauce. It's really low in carbs and it's a good option. And a mandatory So they are good to go. You can see how they browned on the edges. And another really cool tip is to squish them into little cupcake molds. So then when you bake them, they'll be little cups, and then they'll come out and they'll sit like cups, and you can fill them with stuff like meat and cheese and just delicious stuff, like Tostitos scoops. I'm all about the presentation. Perfect. As such. And you have a perfect party, movie, appetizer.
We're coming in hot for the third recipe. I'm super excited about this one. Mug cakes are life, and this is a blueberry muffin mug cake. It's really good. It's exactly like those Otis Spunkmeyer muffins, and whenever I say Otis Spunkmeyer, Megan makes like a weird face. Here's sort of the 2 test batches I've did so you can see the difference. Here's number 1. This one I microwaved the blueberries with the butter and the cream cheese and like kind of melted them and just turned them into a jelly basically. It's not very appealing looking, it's just gray and grossy. This one right here, I mean, this is appetizing for sure. Honestly, I think this other one might taste better, but this one just looks better. So if you add the blueberries in last, this is what you come up with, but it's the same recipe. So this is just super simple. It's a microwave mug cake, takes way less than 5 minutes. Add a tablespoon of butter, and then we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of cream cheese, which is 1 ounce. And I honestly just eyeball these. If you're making a mug cake and you're measuring stuff out, you a nerd. Maybe that's something I'll just start saying from now on. You a nerd. So we're gonna microwave this for about 30 seconds. Yeah. You don't want the butter like smoking hot, okay? So now we just mix those 2 things together. And then the order that you do this in matters so that you don't cook the egg and that you don't scramble up the blueberries and turn it into the first one. Yeah. 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Baking powder is probably something you want to measure though. And then 2 tablespoons of coconut flour. And coconut flour cannot really be substituted for almond flour. That's like the #1 question we get on recipes. It doesn't really work because they're so different. I like to sweeten mine with stevia. You can also do erythritol. I'm gonna do like 15 or 20 drops. We want a nice sweet muffin. And then you mix that together first, just lightly. The coconut flour cools down the butter and the cream cheese a little bit so that then you can add the egg. So just crack an egg in there. And now this is the base of your dough, guys. Do whatever you want. We're gonna add blueberries, but chocolate chips, walnuts, you know, any kind of nuts. One thing to account for though is the blueberries add a little bit of moisture. So if you do nuts, maybe add like a couple teaspoons of water. Salt really does make a difference. I would recommend adding a pinch. Lastly, for the blueberries, we are going to measure because the carbs add up pretty quick when you're doing blueberries. So we're gonna do about 20-25 grams here. It's about 16 blueberries. Now just microwave this for 2 minutes. And it usually comes out really easily right onto a plate. I like to just flip it over real quick. Look at that, guys. Now, if you're familiar with Otis Spunkmeyer muffins, as I am as a child, it's all I ate basically. We get the big variety packs. You gotta sprinkle a little bit of sweetness on top. So we're just gonna do some powdered erythritol. Because the top, the muffin top, that's always the most delicious part. The bottom's almost not even worth eating. I mean, for this one it is, but for Otis, work on your bottoms. Time for the taste test. I have tasted this dish right here millions of times. Crack the yolk. Get it running in there. It never disappoints. It's really filling and it's just like a great way to use something healthy like collard greens and soak up all the drippings from the bacon. Spinach, collard greens, turnip greens. I like collard greens and turnip greens a little bit better just because they like hold up better to the cooking. Spinach, you put like 3 or 4 cups in and you're left with like 2 bites. I don't like that. I like to have a lot of stuff to eat. And then these, I mean, do we even have to taste them? They're good. So we actually didn't have marinara sauce. This is vodka sauce. Mega didn't tell you that, but it tastes good. Yeah, these are just great for snacks, for movies. We like to make a big spread of stuff that are easy, just like finger foods, like a charcuterie board, but a little bit more intricate. This is perfect for that. The crown jewel right here, guys. The consistency you get because the moisture in the blueberries is really unmatched. Look at that. They call that a cross section. Okay, that is phenomenal. It tastes exactly like a blueberry muffin, Otis Spunkmeyer, especially with the nice like muffin top on top. So if you want to make a mug cake in the oven, or if you want to kind of like bake up a bunch of muffins, it's usually like 350 for 20 minutes, so you could try that. These are just phenomenal. This mug cake recipe, 2 minutes. There's no reason to cheat on your diet when you got delicious stuff like this at your fingertips. It's 2 minutes away. Definitely give this a try. Let us know any other quick meals like these you guys have, because these really come in handy. Because, you know, you can't really just go to the convenience store and find something that's great for keto. So having nice, quick options like this is a huge plus. Comment below. Thanks for watching.